All right, once again, we're going to address these Eroll Spence fanatics. My man Ronnie Rebel goes on to say that if Terrence Bud Crawford has so much value, then how come he's not a pay-per-view star? Okay, he says it's not fair that Eroll Spence is taking on all these hard fights and Terrence Bud Crawford is just sitting on the sidelines like a groupie. He needs to do something to hype the fight up. Ronnie, let me ask you a question. If Eroll Spence himself was such a pay-per-view star, then how come he needs Jerry Jones to buy the tickets to his fight? Because last time I checked, if you a pay-per-view star, it's your fans that buy your tickets, not owners of the Dallas Cowboys. And most importantly, why would you even need that kind of help if you are such a star? You should be able to just sell. But you don't need somebody to help you so it can make it look like you're doing better than what you're supposed to be doing. So you can look like you're bigger than what you actually are. Because last time I checked, don't nobody help Terrence Bud Crawford buy his tickets. Just his fans buy his tickets. But Jerry Jones buy Eroll Spence tickets. Okay? And in case you didn't know that, go look it up. Okay? And if you need a source, just go to the Breakfast Club interview with Eroll Spence. Charlemagne spilled the whole beans on it. Okay? But he's such a star. Okay? And you keep talking about these risky fights. What risky fight you talking about? I want to know. Who? Mikey Garcia coming up in weight? Chris Algier? What? Kell Brook? What? Sean Porter? What? Because last time I heard, he said, well, why don't I go the easy route and fight Sean Porter? Mikey Garcia came up in weight. And before he was talking about that, Eroll Spence claim to fame was beating a Chris Algier, who was already burnt out. Matter of fact, everybody he has got his hands on has been burnt or one foot out the door. You want to know one thing that you haven't seen in Eroll Spence's career? And I'm just being honest with you. You haven't seen Eroll Spence take on a straight up killer. Well, Bruce, what do you mean by that? Let me explain it to you. When Terrence Bud Crawford fought Yuriorkis Gamboa, Gamboa was considered pound for pound the best fucking fighter in the world. Straight killer. He stopped him at his peak, in his prime, pound for pound. Name me one fighter that Eroll Spence did that with. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. And before Ugas, who was he gonna fight? Manny Pacquiao. When Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao, what did Eroll Spence say? Manny Pacquiao is past his prime. He's no longer the fighter that he's used to be and all this other stuff. And he's old, blase split. But that was the same fighter that you were finna fight. So once again, where is these so-called killers that he's fighting? No, Terrence Crawford is the killer that he's not fighting. And there ain't one person on Eroll Spence's resume that you name that Terrence Bud Crawford wouldn't fight. The only difference is he can't get his hands on those fighters because PBC don't want to give up the bodies. Give and take whatever promotional company he was with and whatever and whatnot. But I tell you what standing on sideline like a groupie is. Stand on the sideline like a groupie is when you tell somebody to go get a belt and you'll fight them. But low key, you and your promotional team is making backdoor deals with Canelo Alvarez to give him a fight. And yet complain about money for the fight, but you're offering $55 million. You don't want to go to a person's fight in your own division that holds a belt in your division, but you'll go to a Canelo Alvarez fight. So you tell me who's being the groupie? Honestly. That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all ain't got no room. Y'all really ain't got no room to talk. How y'all still talking like this at this stage in the fight development is shocking to me. because it just sounds like, and it looks like at the end of the day, you guys will come up with any reason to justify this fight not happening. And had Terrence Bud Crawford been avoiding Errol Spence and been shying away from Errol Spence, guess what y'all be hollering? Terrence Bud Crawford need to fight Errol Spence. Oh yeah, I know. But since he's been calling Errol Spence out, that makes y'all nervous. Y'all don't want to see the fight because y'all know how that shit gonna end. I'll put it like this, Ronnie. There's almost no boxer from the past, old and present, that sides with Errol Spence beating Terrence Bud Crawford. All the legends, all the GOATs, all the Hall of Famers, they say Terrence Bud Crawford. From Sean Porter to Sugar Ray Leonard to James Toney to Roy Jones Jr., and the list goes on. They all side with Terrence Bud Crawford. And if he's taking on such the killers and he has such a good name, how come Errol Spence can never penetrate past 4th and 3rd place on the pound for pound list? And I'm talking about nobody's pound for pound list. There isn't a pound for pound list that you can look up on the internet that'll have Errol Spence over Terrence Bud Crawford, with all that heavy lifting, with all that fighting this person and fighting that person. Terrence Bud Crawford is still considered a better fighter than Errol Spence Jr. to the boxing world. So explain that to me. If he's doing all this and all that, if it was really that great, it would reflect. Terrence Bud Crawford has always been considered either number 1 or number 2. It's a stretch to say that he's been considered like in the, like number 3. But that's the lowest Terrence Crawford will ever go. Errol Spence never get past 3rd place on the pound for pound list. Almost never. And if he does, nobody has that boy above Terrence Bud Crawford. And last time I checked, Terrence Bud Crawford has already cleaned out the division, finna clean out 147, and has the ambition to go up and challenge the undisputed champion in Jermell Charlo. And if the boxing world was to give Terrence Bud Crawford his way, do you realize this man would be undisputed in 3 freaking weight classes? So what are you talking about, man? Once again, do you want to see the fight or not? Because you guys can come up with a million excuses for this, that, and the third. You guys can come up with everything but a good reason to see this fight. And you got all the reasons there in the world. If he want to be considered the best at 147, he has to go see Terrence Bud Crawford. Because Terrence Bud Crawford is not just considered the best at 147. He's considered to be the best fighter in the world. That's right, Mr. Groupie, the best fighter in the world. Errol Spence is nowhere near considered or even looked at that. He's not. So at the end of the day, man, what are you talking about? Talking like this has no purpose. Did Errol Spence call him out? Did he not say he's going for that belt? So that makes all your points obsolete. And I don't want to hear about money, especially when you're throwing $55 million at Canelo Alvarez like a groupie. Man, y'all gonna need to get out of here with this crap, man. See, you guys are what's wrong with boxing, because you should just want to see the fight at the end of the day. But still, you're making up excuse like you got to get in the ring with him. Doesn't make any sense, man. Stop fanboying. Take them knee pads off. And become a boxing fan and ask to see the damn fight. Like the rest of the world. We just want to see a boxing match. That's why we watch boxing, to watch boxers box. Not you guys talk about somebody's a groupie, he needs to go do this, he needs to humble himself, he needs to do that, he needs to take less money, he needs to go fight this person, and then when he fights this person, he's a burnout, that ain't nothing, blase split. But the man already cleaned out the division and finna take over another weight class. Errol Spence have forever been in 147. He's not even ahead of Terrence Bud Crawford in accomplishments. So once again, Ronnie, what the hell do y'all be talking about? That's it, man. I'm out.